take it too far. Now I dwell in the sand like a fish on land.
MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, welcome to another glorious round of the Rated R Safety Show. Anyways, today's Thursday, December the 16th of 2021, day 350th. Yes, 350th of the year. And we only have 15 days remaining. So there you go. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And we are also hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at. You know, that place over there.
Radio.
So anyways, I hope everything was great and grand in your overnight, anything that you got to do, hang out, do, see, whatever. Hopefully you're planning for, the big week as as we're coming to the end of the year, as the holidays are getting closer and closer, and you're getting to do the things that potentially you wanted to do, because that's always important. Anyway, so we're going to start talking right away about the things that are going on in regards to the trends. We'll talk about some charts and all that kind of fun stuff. But trending in the overnight was Bell Hooks was trending yesterday after of her passing spread on social media. So there you go. That actually happened yesterday. Jennifer Gardner was trending on Wednesday as Twitter users reacted to Ben Affleck essentially blaming her for his drinking problem. Many pointed out that Gardner was the one who dropped everything to get him to rehab and support his sobriety journey after they were divorced. So there you go. I mean, I guess, when you sit down and you talk to Howard Stern, you got a lot of stuff that you'll bring up. I mean, I guess that's a good thing as you take a look at it. Anyways, National Singing Day was trending yesterday as top high school athletes around the country selected where they would be. Did I say Singing Day? I meant Signing Day. Would be selecting where they would be playing in the fall. So there you go. And then last but not least, also trending yesterday was Selling Tampa was landed on Twitter top 10 as the new series premiered on Netflix yesterday. I guess I'm not a big watcher of that, so I'm not familiar with Selling Tampa. Are you familiar with Selling Tampa? And is it something that should have been done years ago? I'm just asking the question because I never know. Anyways, what we were seeing yesterday in the overnight, something that kept on hitting the charts, was this. A couple in Florida made a call to a bee expert, Alicia Bixler, after bees kept popping out of nowhere each time that they used the shower. The couple were shocked to find a 7-foot-tall hive in the wall behind their shower. Bixler, who owns and operates How's Your Day Honey, estimated there's somewhere between 60 to 80,000 bees living in the shower wall with over 100 pounds of honey. She removed it. She actually documented the removal on her TikTok page, which already has over 5 million. I guess that's 5 million with an M views of people actually taking a look of what was going on inside of there. So imagine that. You turn on your shower and you get the iggy of you got some bees coming out. I mean, that would be slightly shocking. Not exactly what you expect. I mean, I guess the fear for most is normally getting the snake in the toilet type of scenario. But could you imagine all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. You got bees in the shower. Anyways, currently 6 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it's time for you and I both to hang out with my friends at Feature Story News. So let's see what they have going on. If you're not familiar with the show, we are a radio show that has a safety problem, so that's for sure. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk about what's going on inside of the world of the news, and then I come back and give you my nonsense of what I see and how I see it. It's always interesting on how that goes because I never know how I see things until they probably pop up. Anyway, so here you go. Here's the news from Feature Story News. You're listening to Radio Big and Safety FM. This is the Rated R Safety Show.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. 4 children have died after falling from a bouncy castle in Australia that had been blown into the air. A wind gust took the bouncy castle up around 10 metres at a primary school in Tasmania, with 2 boys and 2 girls dying and 5 more children injured. Calls are growing in the UK for more support for sectors of the economy being hit over concerns about the spread of the Omicron COVID variant. England's chief medical officer has urged people not to mix with people you don't have to. Hospitality firms say bookings are falling sharply as a result of the warnings about Omicron. Cabinet Minister Gillian Keegan says there is support in place.
VAT is reduced up until March. We still have business rates reduced by 66% up until March. Business loans available, recovery loans available. There's some cultural funds for some sectors as well. We don't have furlough in place, but we do still have many of the other protections for the hospitality industry in place. And of course, the Chancellor keeps everything under review. But what we're hoping to do is to get everybody boosted as quickly as possible and get back to normal as quickly as possible.
India is offering semiconductor makers incentives worth $10 billion to manufacture products in the country. It comes in the middle of a global chip shortage. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
India will extend fiscal support of up to 50% of a project's cost to eligible display and semiconductor makers. Additionally, officials will also provide fiscal support to 100 domestic chip makers. Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav says this will help turn India into a complete ecosystem for manufacturers. This, in turn, is expected to create 135,000 new jobs in the country and attract more than $8 billion in investments. Israel's Tower Semiconductor, Taiwan's Foxconn, and a consortium from Singapore have already shown interest in setting up factories here. The country has so far relied heavily on China and Taiwan for chips and displays, but now analysts say the move will help India position itself as a major electronics manufacturing hub. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
Joe Biden says he'll do whatever it takes to help communities impacted by a series of deadly tornadoes which killed more than 80 people. US correspondent Ira Spitzer reports.
The U.S. president made the remarks while visiting the state of Kentucky, where he surveyed the damage from the powerful winds which leveled entire city blocks last weekend.
And I intend to do whatever it takes as long as it takes to support your state, your local leaders, and as you recover and rebuild, because you will recover and you will rebuild.
Biden promised that the federal government would cover the entire cost of debris removal and overtime for emergency personnel for the next 30 days. The death toll is expected to rise in the coming days, with more than 100 people still missing. Ira Spitzer, San Francisco.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more depth today at the latest signs of inflation on the global economic landscape. Britain recorded an inflation rate of 5.1% last month. That's the highest annual rate in more than a decade. It follows data in the US, where prices are rising at their fastest level since 1982. There is speculation that the Bank of England will soon raise interest rates in a bid to try and bring inflation back into line with its forecast.
Well, the Bank of England are certainly in a quite an uncomfortable position because they will see inflation surging, but they'll also see the economy slowing.
Suren Thiru is the head of economics at the British Chambers of Commerce.
Well, one concern is that prices in the high street on shop shelves are rising at a faster rate than wages at the moment. So that means the pound in your pocket is going less further than it did maybe 6 to 8 months ago. So that's clearly a concern because that impacts people's incomes in real terms. That's after inflation, but also has an impact for the wider economy because consumer spending is such a critical part of the UK economy. It counts around 2/3 of economic output.
In the rest of Europe, inflation hit 4.9% in November. That is a record for the Eurozone. Central banks in many countries now face complex decisions in the months ahead as consumers increasingly feel the pinch. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, 4 children have died after falling from a bouncy castle in Australia that was blown into the air. Calls are growing in the UK for more support for sectors of the economy hit over the spread of Omicron. India is offering semiconductor makers incentives worth $10 billion to manufacture in the country. And Joe Biden says he'll do whatever it takes to help communities impacted by a series of deadly tornadoes. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hey, come in real close. I got something to share with you. Not everybody has a beautiful head. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can pull off the shaved head look. Hey, I'm not digging on people. I'm just bringing it up. Some people out there are losing their hair. Now, I want to tell you about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time that they are 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers them both. Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor consultation and medication delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't even have to leave your home. Think about that. There's other things that you have to leave your home to be able to pick up, not with Keeps. They have low-cost treatments that start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. It's discreet packaging and proven results. Now think about this for a moment. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 5 months to see results. So act fast. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/safety to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/safety to get your first month for free. keeps.com/safety. Now just remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head like mine.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they could be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Yes, Thursday. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's start moving and grooving and talking and doing all the motions in the ocean. Maybe that's not the right thing to say there. Anyways, but let's start talking about what's going on inside of the world of the hit list. So let's take it from the very top. Anthony Fauci said on Wednesday that people vaccinated but without a booster have considerable protection against the Omicron COVID variant, but still encouraged to get the booster anywhere. Anyways, there is no need for a variant-specific booster at this point. So here's the question then. If 2 doses prevent hospitalization, what's the end game? I mean, I'm just asking. I'm kind of curious on that. So if it is kind of protecting against it. So if you do get the booster, what are you boosting? I mean, is it making you more protected? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I'm trying to understand the madness behind everything. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a bad thing, depending on how you want to take a look at it. It all depends on what exactly you want to do. Anyways, an elderly Minnesota couple ordered groceries from Instacart on December the 6th. When the driver arrived, she saw an expressing support for law enforcement in the couple's yard that said, "Thank you, Blaine PD," in the city of Blaine, Minnesota. That's when the driver ran over the groceries and left a note. "Sorry, find another slave, racist." The driver was cited with criminal damage of property. I'm very confused on that one. So hold on. I don't know. It's kind of one of those weird things. I mean, you don't have to agree with my point of view. You don't have to agree with other people's point of view. But I mean, if you're doing a job, I don't get the point. I mean, I don't understand it. Maybe somebody can give me a better explanation. I mean, I don't get it. Do you get the point on what you were trying to encourage? Because now all of a sudden, you're cited for criminal damage of property. That's number one. And what are the odds that someone like Instacart is going to keep you on board? I'm just saying, I know you're an independent contractor on how those things work, but just think about that for a moment.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Let's continue talking. San Francisco Mayor London Breed said on Wednesday that she's taking steps to strengthen law enforcement's ability to fight the exploding crime and a significant backpedal to defend the police measures that she took just last summer. What I'm proposing today and what I will be proposing in the future will make a lot of people uncomfortable, and I don't care, she said. So I would like to understand the plan a little bit better. That's for sure. But what is the plan? I mean, if you're having exploding, an insignificant increase in crime, well, something needs to be done. And what is going to be the correct measures of what should be done? That's going to, of course, always be a good question to ask as you are moving forward there and going through the whole lingo of things. That's for sure, as we are talking on this lovely Thursday. Anyways, a fire at a Hong Kong skyrise left 13 hospitalized on Wednesday. Fire crews spent hours attacking the blaze, but successfully rescued 770 people who were trapped. So think about that real quick. 770 people in a 13-story, or excuse me, not a 13-story, in a high-rise, and 13 were left. I mean, don't get me wrong. You take a look at it and go, that's just mesmerizing, the amount of numbers of the people that were actually inside of there and how that was actually handled, which is a good thing, being able to rescue 770 people. Anyways, Vladimir Putin expressed solidarity with Xi Jinping on Wednesday, announcing that Russia will fully attend the upcoming Winter Olympics to be hosted in Beijing. Putin called the gesture a new model of cooperation that has been formed between our countries based on other matters of principle such as non-interference in each other's internal affairs. The United States, UK, and Australia have all said that the government representatives won't be on hand. So there you go. Kraft is having a hard time getting cream cheese onto shelves, so it's paying some Americans $20 not to make cheesecake this Christmas. Did you hear that? $20 not to make cheesecake. Later this week, up to 18,000 people will be able to register online to get a reimbursement voucher for an alternative dessert of up to $20. So think about that real quick. You are a creator of a product, and I am going to ask you, as the creator of the product, please don't buy the product to use it for this. Because all of a sudden, we are having a shortage of the product. That's an interesting twist. That's definitely an interesting twist. Now, I don't know, and maybe you can tell me, is cheesecake normally a big thing during the Christmas holiday? I mean, I don't know. I can tell you that I have cheesecake from time to time, and it's very long time to time, but it's always flavored as something else. I don't know why. It just works out that way. I look at it and I go, how does that work? But it's just, we've spoken about this previously. I never understand why we end up getting cheesecakes that taste like something else that's way lesser in price than what the actual cheesecake is actually worth. But hey, what do I know? I'm just talking to talk, I guess, at this particular point. Who knows?
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Okay, a spacecraft has for the first time entered the sun's corona. NASA's Parker Solar Probe, launched 3 years ago, has since orbited the sun 8 times, flying closer each orbit. Data from April this year has since been proceeded and analyzed to show that the probe has made it closer than ever to the sun, surviving 2 million degree Fahrenheit conditions. So how the hell do you build a device that can handle that kind of a thing, that can handle that kind of a temperature to be around? I mean, that's kind of amazing within itself if you really think about it. Because how can it handle that? How can you actually make something that will go, okay, we can handle this kind of temperature? I mean, I don't know. It's pretty interesting, that's for sure. I mean, let's not lie about that. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on. A 16-year study to take Einstein's theory of relativity has concluded, and it turns out the theory holds up. Researchers say that it's even more encouraging that they studied the actual cosmic events in a way that wouldn't have been possible in Einstein's day, and all the math and science still checks out. So there you go. I guess the guy really did know what he was talking about when it was all said and done. I guess that's one way to look at it. Anyways, before we get too far into it, let's bring in Johnny Smalls. Let him tell us about what is going on inside of the market beat, because I think that those things are always important.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, December 16th, 2021. Stocks got a boost from the Federal Reserve Wednesday when it released its policy statement. In the statement, they said they'll aggressively dial back their bond purchasing program because of its dual mandate of employment and inflation have been met. The FOMC is indicating 3 interest rate hikes by the end of 2022, which is in line with the market's expectations. The risk now is that inflation won't respond to the policy shift, and the FOMC will be forced to act even more aggressively than it is now indicating. On the economic front, the retail sales for November came in much weaker than expected, and that reflects the rising problem of inflation. Retail sales came in up 0.3% versus an expectation of up 0.5%, but the data does not account for the impact of inflation. With CPI up 6.8% for the year, the volume of sales is actually down, with the difference in retail sales data made up by the higher prices. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of that particular world. Anyway, Montana has announced a 5-day extension to its deer hunting season next year. The move is to combat chronic wasting disease and will apply to a specific private land and state-owned properties in a specific area. So there you go. If you're into hunting, I guess that might be a good thing to you if you're wanting to go out to Montana, now knowing that hunting season will last 5 more days. Yeah, 5 more days. I don't know. Everybody has to do their own thing. I could sit here and talk about so many weird things when it comes to that whole aspect of how that works in regards of going out there and hunting and fishing and all that. But hey, not everything is for everyone. That's one way to look at it. So just keep that in mind as we are talking. Anyways, financial guru Dave Ramsey is facing a lawsuit that claims that one of his employees was fired for taking COVID precautions. The suit alleges that Brad Amos was fired in July of 2020 after asking bosses to be able to work from home, and that employees who wore masks and practiced social distancing were mocked and made fun of. Of course, so to purchase your Ramsey Plus subscription, hold on. So to purchase your Ramsey Plus subscription, visit RamseySolutions.com/Ramsey Plus. What is this? What? I don't get it. That was kind of a weird thing to tie in there. Maybe that was a wrong line inside of there. But I mean, it's kind of a weird thing. If what Mr. Brad Amos is saying is true. When it comes to that, I don't know. Did you see anything weird when it was all said and done when we're talking about protocols and organizations on how they were doing that? Like, did you see mockery of anything? Now, let's just be realistic. In regards to the world of rumor mills, this is not the first time that Ramsey Solutions has come up in conversations about this. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe strongly in a lot of the financial advice stuff that Ramsey and his cohorts actually teach. That is for sure. I mean, I don't want to mix and match stuff here, but it's interesting if there is truth to what Brad Amos is saying. But unfortunately, the way that it works sometimes is that people will say stuff and doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong, but it is things that people claim, and then all of a sudden you get bad press. Just kind of the way that it works. Anyways, it is currently 28 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out, and I think it's time to talk about it. I think it's time to go into that section that we like to call our main story. So let's go ahead and do that right now if you would like to do so.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
As we go through the world and we start talking about stuff and start looking into the different things that people do, we always take a look at certain things. And look at me, don't take it the wrong way as I talk about this, but we all run into the matter of what we know as stepping stones. And what do I mean by that? Some people will say, hey, I actually had friends or had colleagues or I had people that I worked with or jobs that I had that I used it as stepping stones to actually jump up somewhere else within my career. I mean, think about it. It is not a unheard of practice. It's not something that's very uncommon. It's not something that you have not heard of. It's definitely, if you take a look around, there's something or someone that comes to mind normally when you say, oh, yes, they use this job as a stepping stone. They might have used our friendship as a stepping stone. Some people even use relationships as a stepping stone. And I don't know if it's the intention starting off that that's what it ends up being, but hey, I don't think it starts off that way, but sometimes it ends up being that particular way. Now, think about this for a second. I don't think that a lot of these things are planned. I don't think that a lot of people go in with that whole aspect that this is what they're going to do. But if you take a look at this, there's a lot of other things inside of your life that this applies to. Now, think about it. If you look at it from the schooling aspect, well, you had stepping stones that you had to do X, Y, and Z to be able to move to the next thing. Just kind of the way that it goes. But also inside of organizations, because we talk a lot about safety, you have to look at it too, that sometimes where you start off does not necessarily mean where you're going to end up. Now, I will tell you, and I'm not picking on the behavior-based safety people today, so please don't take it the wrong way. But when I first started down the journey of understanding what was going on inside of the world of safety, a lot of the stuff that I learned at the time was behavior-based safety related. Not that that was a bad thing at the time. I thought it was great to have a basic understanding of what was going on, to be able to move forward. But because of the knowledge base that I had related to behavior-based safety, when something else came in that I thought was a little bit more intriguing when it came into the world of human and organizational performance, I had to almost use the stuff that I had learned in behavior-based safety as a stepping stone to be able to go into HOP. To go, okay, now I can see the pros and the cons. Now I can see what I like and what I dislike. Now, don't get me wrong, as I take a look around at the whole thing, not every segment of everything that I do I love. Do I think that it's the greatest? But it's stuff that I have to build off of the things that I've learned in the past. I mean, think about it. Think about it from the standpoint of any relationship that you've ever been in. Think about it from the things that you have learned throughout the years that you like and you dislike. If you purchased a car and the car didn't work too well for you, you more than likely in the future will say, hey, that will not be a brand of a car that I will purchase. Now, I won't say that with like when it comes to alcohol or when it comes to a soda or a certain food, because if it's lower in price, you might go back to it. But when it's a large purchase, you're more than likely not going to do that. Like I will tell you, there is a particular furniture manufacturer that I bought furniture from. When it was all said and done, the furniture lasted probably less than a year. And there was only 2 people living in the household, and it wasn't like the furniture was used that often because we were hardly ever there. But it did not last that long. So I know that in the future, that is not a furniture company that I will normally go to. Just kind of the way that it works. Because I know that I did not like the quality of the product because of what the pricing was and how long it actually lasted. So at this particular point too, you have to look at certain things inside of how your life has worked out and what you're going to build off of. Now, do you say overall it's all stepping stones? Maybe, maybe not. Do you take a look at it and go, this is going to be the best suited thing going forward? I don't know. It's a difficult question to answer. It's one of those things that as we move forward talking about this, what all do you look at inside of your life that you go, hey, this has been a stepping stone? Because it's interesting to me when you kind of take a look at the bigger and the broader picture that you can go, all these other things should have applied as I was moving forward. But that's how you determine also how the things that you like. Now, some people might take the wording kind of bad of calling it a stepping stone per se. But how did the trajectory work? How did the knowledge base work for you to get from A to Z? How would you deem it? Lessons learned? Or was it a build-up or a ramp-up in regards of getting there? It's a lot of stuff to think about. I mean, think about the bigger picture. When it's all said and done, you have to determine within yourself what is it that makes the most sense. And if you can do that, you can word it however you want. Because you're going to know how it goes because you were the one that actually lived through it. Think about that for a moment. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Like a fish on land.
go, 41 minutes past the top of the hour. This is Fish on Land by Red Sun. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Thank you for Blood Red Sun for allowing us to play this one on the Rated R Safety Show.
In the quicksand, pink clouds eating their way into my head. On and on until I'm bled.
Okay, so there you go. So let's talk a little bit about some other stuff going on real quick. Not normally our forte, but I'm going to talk about this real quick. Early reviews for Spider-Man No Way Home are in, and it looks like it could be the best film ever in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With embargo on critics' opinions finally lifted for Tom Holland's third installment as the web slinger, ratings on Rotten Tomatoes for what could be the biggest movie of the year so far show the movie had a 99% score after 67 reviews, which is incredibly high for any film, let alone a superhero one. Tom Holland is being praised as the incredible performance of Peter Parker as he navigates the difficulties of being a teenager in Spider-Man, who has finally been unmasked to the world. Critics also seem to be amazed on how Marvel was introduced into the multiverse, with villains from previous Spider-Man trilogies brought into the fold. Spider-Man No Way Home premiere was held on Monday in LA, and the film officially opened today with midnight screenings in some cities. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. So if you're interested in seeing it, go out there and see it. If you're not, so then just wait till it comes out on video, and then you can go from there. I guess that's kind of the way. That's how it would actually. That's how it would go if you want to do it that way. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about some other things going on inside of the world of the news here, as it's always important as we are talking. Anyway, soda pressing. Have you noticed that diet soda pop is disappearing from store shelves? And not only is it a supply chain issue, it's a matter of branding. Increasingly, you'll know that beverages under the new name Zero Sugar, Canada Dry, and Shepherd's Ginger Ale, 7-Up, A&W Sunkist made by Keurig Dr. Pepper are all now with the diet drinks Zero Sugar. One exception of namesake is Dr. Pepper, which comes in a diet packaging and additional different zero sugar versions. Why the change? Well, the word diet has fallen out of fashion, especially for millennial and Gen Zers. Greg Lyons, chief marketing officer for PepsiCo, says that younger people just don't like the word diet. And as a result, his company is rebranding Pepsi Max as Pepsi Zero Sugar. In 2016, has been investing in its zero sugar offerings for over the past few years. Coca-Cola still offers Diet Coke in addition to some of the more recently introduced Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. So I wonder if calling it Zero Nutrients would also would go over well. Then the other portion is that that explains why it seems that to my diet tab lately, I should be looking for tab Zero Sugar. Now, I will tell you, as we have discussed earlier in the week, with me being in Mexico for over a month, it was interesting to see that there wasn't really a lot of quote unquote diet anything. It was light. It was light or without sugar. So you couldn't find like Diet Coke. You would find Coke Light. That's what it was worded. And then you could find Coke without sugar, not Coke Zero Sugar. So just for the references of doing so. So I wonder if this is going to become one of those things that it's going to be a trend for the time being. Anyways, a court coverage. Face masks are not only uncomfortable for many, they also interfere with the ability to communicate with others. With that in mind, a team of researchers have found a new face mask to actually make it easier for people to pick out lies in a statement of witnesses testifying in court. The University of Portsmouth and John Jay College of Criminal Justice examined how many courtroom procedures during the pandemic are impacting juries' lies detecting skills. While conventional wisdom may look for the face to block the facial expressions and give away the lie, they also found that the exact opposite effects. Facial expressions from other forms of nonverbal communication are actually unreliable measures on how deceitful someone is being. Therefore, masking these actions seem to improve the person's ability to tell the difference between the truth and lies. My first reaction is that all lawyers should be required to wear masks, pandemic or not, politicians too, just in case. And so now if a dude's wearing a mask and tells me that he's vaccinated, I won't be able to believe it or not. I mean, I don't know.
Duh.
Just something to think about.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
So it's definitely not rocket surgery. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. At some point, we're all of you saying it's not rocket science and it's not brain surgery, but have you ever wondered if anybody would battle off the wits between the rocket scientists and brain surgeons? Well, it turns out that brain doctors and scientists and engineers are no different than those of any other profession. A study of nearly 400 scientific and medical professionals has revealed that the stereotypical smarty pants like brain surgeons and rocket science are no better than anyone else in particular when it comes to the skills needed to succeed in logical mathematical profession. As reported by the British Medical Journal, tests showed that each profession correlated with one area of intelligence more than the other. For example, neuroscientists scored higher in the language-based problem solving, while aerospace engineers were better at spatial reasoning, but their overall average were on par with the general public. The studies also shows that it would put in that some of the better at everything, but that was just not the case, and they're better at certain things to make good on the way that they do things. So just like you are, now I wish I could figure out if that's what I am good at and what I am bad at, because that's going to be the other thing. Still, if a brain surgeon makes a little mistake, somebody somehow loses their mind, literally. So think about that. And then on the other hand, there's a lot of people that I've seen that I'm glad that their jobs aren't rocket science or brain surgery, no matter what, because, it's just probably not going to be a good thing for them to be doing those things. Just saying. Anyways, let's jump into the swamp real quick. Not something that I normally touch, but let's talk about it. But insiders at Senator Chuck Schumer's office tell NBC News that they don't think that there will be a vote on President Joe Biden's $1.7 trillion welfare expansion spending bonanza. Two sources also tell NBC News that they likely won't vote until March. Jim Bodega, 19 kids and counting fame, failed to qualify for state Senate primary in Arkansas, drawing just 15% of the vote of the multi-candidate field. The election came just days after his son, Josh, was convicted of child pornography charges, so that might play a big factor into it. No winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Friday's drawing will be for a $160 million jackpot or $115.7 million cash payout. Anyways, before we get too far into it, let me bring in Johnny Smalls one more time and let him tell you about what's going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Renee. Neil Strauss said, "Great things never came from comfort zones." Let that sink in for a minute. It's profound, really. The quote is kind of saying, comfortable people don't strive for something better. Have you ever been in that situation? I know someone who's there at this very moment. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met. He's capable of doing something great, and I hope and pray someday he does. But for now, he's super comfortable doing something else. It's a great job with great benefits, and he has many reasons to keep living that life. But that comfort zone might rob him and the world of his true potential. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alessamorgan.com. As we are reaching the end of the year, some of us will be making resolutions to change our habits. And if that's the case for you, it helps to understand how the brain forms a neurological feedback loop that solidifies a habit into your routine. According to James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, a habit consists of 4 components: cue, craving, response, and reward. For example, cue, you hit a stumbling block on a project at work. Craving, you feel stuck and want to relieve your frustration. Response, you pull out your phone and check social media. Reward, you satisfy your craving to feel relieved. Checking social media becomes associated with feeling stalled at work. If you have a habit that you would like to change, as the first step of exploration, I invite you to bring awareness to it and identify the 4 components for that habit. Understanding yourself and what drives your habits is an essential step to make the changes you desire. For more information, please visit alessamorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, thank you for that. 51 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. We're at the top of the hour. I will be going over to RadioBig.fm exclusively. So if you want to come over and hang out and do some things together, we can do so. So just for the information purposes of doing so. Anyways, let me tell you about my friends of American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. You never know when that information might be important to come about. It might be something that you need. It might be somebody that you know that might need it. But it's always crucial to be able to check that out and see what exactly is going on inside of your local community. And if you have time to be able to assist and invest, please feel free on doing so. Like I said, all you have to do is go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. You can find them at afsp.org. Anyways, let's continue talking about the things that are going on inside of the world. Let's take a look at what happened back on this date. Back in 2020, winter storms drop a record 41 inches in New York. The storm also resulted in 7 deaths in the Northeast. So that was back in 2020. Taking a look at some birthdays that are going on today. Lance Lim turns 21. Zara Larson turns 24. Joel Adams, 25. Theo James, 37. Christian Ritter turns 40. And Rich Paul, they end up turns 40 as well today. So there you go, some birthdays that are going on inside of there. Also, let's take a look at what days of the year you could celebrate if we're so inclined to do so today. Today's National Chocolate Covered Anything Day. I don't know if that's something that's for today alone or if that's something that you could celebrate all the time. Also, it's Barbie and Barney Backlash Day. I mean, I didn't know that there was a day dedicated just to backlash at them, but hey, I guess people can celebrate pretty much anything if they're so inclined to do so. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know? A serving size of eggnog is probably much smaller than what you thought. As you know, one too many eggnogs can cause less than a jolly experience, especially in terms of digestive distress. As nutritionist Amanda Frankney puts it, eggnog is just an alcoholic Christmas milkshake. This is what it is. It's heavy cream, milk, sugar, whipped eggs, and alcohol. That could be why recommended serving size of a paltry half a cup, half in fat and half in sugar. That small serving contains 1/3 of the recommended daily amount of fat. And in spirits, you can also increase the risk of dehydration related to the effects, aka a hangover, as well as digestive discomfort. See these things that I deal with my family around Christmas. I mean, just something to think about. But I don't know. I am not a huge fan of what is eggnog, what is coquito, and all that other stuff. That's just not me. But then again, I am not a big drinker. So maybe that is part of the reason why I don't like any of that stuff.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about some whack facts on this Thursday. A typical thunderstorm measures about 15 miles in diameter and lasts about 30 minutes. It takes about 100 pounds of rain to produce a single pound of food on Earth. The abbreviation for the word pound, LB, comes from the astrological sign Libra. The call of a humpback whale can be heard 500 miles away. 7,000 new insect species are discovered every year. Think about that. 7,000 new species every year. According to a 2005 Bristol University study, birds prefer to leave their droppings on white cars. I don't know if that's true. I mostly drive black cars, and I swear that I must be target practice because most of my black cars, if I leave them outside, that's what ends up happening. Anyways, just saying that out there. Anyways, let's talk about some scoops of BS if we can do so. Nominations were announced this week for the 79th Golden Globe Awards, which will be held on January the 9th. Winning a Golden Globe is a good indicator on who will win an Oscar, just like winning American Idol is a good indicator on who will be singing on a boat show. Kim Kardashian lashed out on the paparazzi for bothering her and how they were bothering her by not taking enough pictures. I just read the koalas sleep for about 22 hours a day, so game on, bark teenagers everywhere. Facts of the day: when men listen to women's voice, it activates the same part of the brain that processes the sound of music. For me, it's Kenny G music. And then last but not least, doctors say that wearing your hair in a man bun can result in baldness. Thank you, karma. Thank you, karma.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so we talked about it earlier this week, but we'll talk about it once more time, just in case if you're inclined to taking a look at it. We have released our newest ebook if you want to take a look at what is going on over there. And it is talking about the different portions of the brain. As we have been talking over the last few weeks, we are taking a bigger and deeper dives into the world of psychology. So we'd love for you to come and take a look at it and see what you think about what we have to say. You can do so by going to Safety FM Plus, that's PLUS.com. That's Safety FM Plus, PLUS.com, to be able to take a look at that. Anyways, if I can leave you with a random joke for today, I would love to give you this one. You can tell a lot about a person by the way that they handled these three things: a rainy day, lost luggage, and tangled Christmas tree lights. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What is your favorite holiday treat? If you're looking for a question for the water cooler, try this one. Over half of us do this when we go to the grocery store. What is it? It's go down every aisle. Yeah, I will tell you, I have this bad habit of doing that, of going down every aisle. What about you? Do you do the exact same thing? Or not at all? Just a question. I'm always curious on what other people do. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and Safety FM. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. We definitely could not do what we do without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. Now, think about it. If essentially you weren't here, I would be talking into a microphone by myself doing absolutely nothing or staring into this camera. And, it just doesn't have the same appeal if you and I are not hanging out together. That's for sure. Something to think about as we do get to hang out. Anyways, I appreciate all the time that you do invest into what we have going on our different radio shows on Safety FM and on Radio Big. Of course, they're slightly different between the two. Radio Big is mostly inclined towards music, where Safety FM is mostly inclined towards safety. Plethora of hosts across both of the networks, so we really do appreciate that. And as for you also taking a listen to the podcast network. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Think about that. I know who you are. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.